Hello everyone, kind of Starbreeze to host their most prolific news week of the entire year on the one week I decide to go on holiday, but I can handle being late to the party when said party is so raucous. All Boys in Blue memes aside, it really does look like the second DLC release for Payday 3 could act as a key turning point and springboard for the belated game. At a glance, it brings Payday's first new heist in over 7 months, 4 new weapons to play around with, an impressive set of new cosmetic options, both paid and free for all, an initial but somewhat limited offline mode, as well as, crucially, from the response I've seen online, Payday 3's 7th heister, the returning Clover. I always find it funny that one of the least gameplay relevant additions is so frequently the most hyped up, but I think that's just testament to how wonderful the characterization is for our gang of heisters. Their personalities are so key to the game's lasting success, and so people are rightly excited to see the Irish Clover returning, especially as she's retaining massive elements of her original look, as well as her voice actress Aoife Duffin. Anyway, it's quite an impressive billing that seems to contain weeks to maybe months worth of traditional live service content, bundled up and split across a paid DLC and free update. I'm cautiously optimistic about what it'll bring, so we'll be running you through everything we know is coming in the Boys in Blue update, if you happen to be anything like me and need a quick refresher before it releases on the 27th of June. Although, I still think it's important to temper our expectations after the lessons learned at launch. As fun as it can be to go all in on the memes, it is probably worth remembering that we've been stung before and style should never come before substance. So, let's delve chronologically through last week's news, starting with the initial Clover announcement via the Dragon Files. I anticipate this is going to be an ARG page we'll look back at quite often over the next few months, as it aims to replicate ex-core gang member Dragon's desktop, as within the lore he's investigating his missing crewmates, name-dropping a couple in the process. Both Clover and Houston have been mentioned on this developing page, with the former getting a full reveal via this prospect dossier and teaser video. Through this, Clover has been entirely confirmed to be releasing within the Boys in Blue update. Those are her feet, you can stop asking me now. Even better, she's confirmed to be free for all, with some exciting new backstory that should kick her personality up another notch. I anticipate the same will be true for Prospects 2 and 3 when the time is right, although I believe it's no coincidence that these heisters are labelled as Prospects. This leaves the door wide open for not only returning, but also new characters to join the gang. Overall, I find the Dragon ARG page to be really quite charming, following up on what the FBI files did for Payday 2 commendably. Dragomir is clearly a stand-up fella and is evidently poised to rejoin the squad in-game himself at a future date if all goes well. Personally, I just wish they had a narrative consistency checker over at Starbreeze, because it sometimes feels like they're stumbling over themselves when referencing Payday 2 lore in the third game, and I think it was really a poor call to make it seem like there was an RNG we could solve for the secret and don't open files, which clearly don't yet have an implemented solution. Great for generating initial hype and interest, not great for building confidence in any future secrets. Anyway, Clover's back, and I like that she was announced in a fairly in-universe and elaborate fashion, drawing other old favourites such as Vlad into the narrative and tying it all to Boys in Blue, I suspect. It's hopefully the first step in making the game world feel more alive and constantly developing. I'm not a Payday is back kind of guy, just because we get to play in a new pair of boots, but I do get the excitement and know there's a lot coming along with her to back it all up. Not least, a cool new variation of her original Queen's Wrath weapon in the form of a preset Carrefour that can be purchased by all players. This moves us on to the next update bombshell dropped last week in the form of the 6th developer update for the Boys in Blue. Here we got our first proper look at some of the DLC heist gameplay, as we finally see the Brooklyn-based police station we're going to be directly hitting in this heist. It doesn't get much more brazen than that, so whilst these initial clips showcase what looks to be a fairly understated heist layout, I anticipate the concept and atmosphere to do a lot of the heavy lifting for it. Initial objectives in Loud look like good fun, going back to the tow truck style breach we saw during Hotline Miami, which at least gets us away from any circle hacks. And from the surrounding lore, it seems as though we'll be after Contraband Gold, meaning a return for the classic loot type. This is likely the first heist that's had the chance to react and develop to the community feedback in those initial months, so my expectations are set quite high for how this one will be crafted. Even if it isn't as bombastic as what we've come to expect from Payday Gang heist settings, if they get the intricate parts of the design right, this could quickly become a cult classic heist. Without doing too much gameplay analysis in this video, there are a couple of interesting things I picked up on, including a donut item stored alongside the keycard in Clover's inventory, as well as an optional objective to steal confidential police files. This strikes me as a lore-relevant side objective that helps to set up what's to come next, as No Rest did for 99 Boxes. I think that went down like a bit of a lead balloon though, so I'm hoping for more from Boys in Blue, and with Land of the Free up next, I can't help but assume there's some sort of link there. Moving on from the titular heist, we also need to talk about the weapons showcased in this footage. They are seemingly Payday 3's version of the MP5 SMG, the G3AR, and the Magnum Revolver, which as noted are all police station classics, so that might give us some clues as to future weapon pack contents as well. I think these are interesting picks, although feel a little bit stock to modern shooters, which does leave me questioning why they're in a paid DLC weapon pack and haven't just been added to the game over time. Maybe the wackiness of later Payday 2 DLCs have just ruined my brain though. The proof will be really in how they feel and perform in game, although at first glance it looks like the modelling and animation teams have once again knocked it out of the park. However, it is worth mentioning that one even more unique weapon is coming to the game in this update, as the Touch the Sky Vault has been cracked open and a brand new LMG is available to all of us for free. How this thing's addition is going to impact the robustness of the skill system will be interesting, as the game wasn't designed with 100-round belt-fed light machine guns in mind, although I'm more than happy with the experiment, as traditionally, bullet hose LMGs are a blast to play with. I imagine it was a balancing nightmare, but the fact that it's free to all means that at the very least any power creep might be forgivable. In any case, it's going to take a lot to knock the SA off its perch as the best weapon at the moment. Moving on from the weapons, the final portion of any modern Payday DLC is its tailor pack, with this one taking inspiration from the classic Cops and Robbers format, with outfits ranging from prison jumpsuits to police uniforms, with a set of masks that continue to up the ante from a design perspective, going for more of a gritty theme. The paid cosmetics look genuinely impressive, but I'm pleased that this update has been equally generous when it comes to free visual upgrade options, with a later dev blog properly showcasing 3 new masks that will enter the in-game Tailor's store in Old Bob, Vicious Warrior, and Hooded Haunt, as well as a new Shamrock weapon charm to celebrate Clover's release, alongside 12 new national flag stickers. I personally couldn't care less for those little weapon knickknacks, but genuinely think flags are the only solid option I might be inclined to slap on a gun, so they're great to see. Finally, we're getting a new way to earn cosmetics for the game as of this update, in the form of Twitch drops. By properly linking your account, you can earn a mask, 2 patterns, 2 weapon stickers and a charm, all themed around them damn pigs. So be sure to join me and pivotally any other affiliate streaming Payday 3 on Twitch from the 27th for some Boys in Blue action. I might even dress for the occasion. That's most of the content-focused editions covered, as well as the entirety of the DLC bundle, so now is probably a good time to discuss what's going on with DLC pricing and special editions. As most of the community made clear upon its launch, Syntax Error was a solid DLC, heavily marred by a ludicrous price tag, with Starbreeze backing themselves into a pricing corner by offering gold and silver editions that created a minimum floor price for the content. This was a massive issue, as the $18 charged for the bundle to make the special editions cost effective was objectively ludicrous, especially when the game itself was relatively cheap. As a result, they've had to eat some humble pie and play around with the special edition offerings. DLC prices will be cut by roughly a third. I'd anticipate around $12 for the complete package, and as compensation, Syntax Error and special edition holders will be additionally rewarded with cosmetics and weapon presets that were originally intended for the microtransaction store at launch. Now, to be clear, this is far from the perfect solution for special edition holders. Although the cosmetics are fine, they were never advertised to owners of these DLCs, so adding them to create perceived value for the bundles retroactively feels a little weak. It seems to me like a time constraint issue and best of a bad situation solution. The alternative, that being to leave the price of DLCs where they were, would have been much worse, so I think Starbreeze are really relying on these special edition owners being their most loyal fans and praying they won't mutiny for the overall good of the game. It's a tricky one to really analyse. I don't like it, but I'm struggling to see a better solution given the constraints I'm vaguely aware of. I don't think you can expect to be promised future DLC content for free, as we don't even know if that'll exist at this point, and overpromising unreleased content is what got us here in the first place. If it's to help keep the franchise alive, I'm happy to take the hit, but no, I do sympathise with anyone who feels let down by how this pricing issue has been handled. I think the lesson to learn is just don't overpromise content you can't back up at a viable price. Anyway, that momentary tirade out the way, back onto the good stuff. Loadout renaming is finally here, a simple but downright necessary feature to help you discern what the hell is going on with your builds at a glance. We're also getting a bunch of quite cool Steam profile cosmetics as Starbreeze look to make more use of their long-lasting relationship with Valve. The addition of DLSS frame generation should also improve performance on certain machines, which will come in handy on the likes of No Rest for the Wicked, as showcased here. This might be coming at just the right time, as I can't believe I'm leaving this until last to discuss, we're finally getting an offline solo mode in Payday 3. Now the reason I'm linking the two is because this version of offline is going to require your machine to do more of the heavy lifting to run the game, whereas previously the server infrastructure offered a helping hand. We don't yet know how extreme the performance drop might be, which is why I'm not allowing myself to get too excited about solo whilst it's still in this beta. Fair play to Starbreeze for recognising that more will need to be done with it, but currently it's a highly experimental form of online that really stretches the definition, as you will still need an internet connection to load the game and access the menu with the mode attached, and you'll need to reconnect to the servers after the solo mode session to update any progress. What it might be good for is shortening the cooldown between heists if you do want to play solo, as it skips the unnecessary lobby search section when selecting a heist. I expect this offline mode to be far too limited to actually entice players to the game if always online was a major sticking point for them. However, I appreciate the need to test and iterate upon this feature, and do now understand it's slightly more complex than we initially thought at launch. At the very least, it's a show of good faith that offline is a genuine priority. Starbreeze are not married to an always online game for all the wrong reasons, and that Payday 3 might one day be available to all, even if the servers are sadly gone. Speaking of those servers though, the game is currently in the process of switching to a new matchmaking service, which surely means a new service provider, right? Whatever it is, I'm just hoping for more server stability in the future, as a best of both worlds service looks to be the long-term goal, with seamless offline, locally hosted private co-op, and fully server-hosted online modes all likely being endgame. Now we just need the player base to support that kind of expensive infrastructure. And that is pretty much everything we've been shown, so Update 8 is looking massive. Within the player base, hype around the DLC might have started life as an ironic joke, but it's turned into something that can be harvested to truly move the game forwards. I'm expecting good things from this update, and I also believe the tone of the dev diary in recent marketing has been moving in the right direction. Not taking themselves too seriously to avoid appearing like soulless publicly traded corpos doesn't half help get the crowd on side. But unfortunately, from where I'm standing, that crowd seems limited to an echo chamber that has in some way stuck with the game since launch. I think Payday 3's largest problem right now is recapturing the audience it has lost and trying to entice new prospective players in, and I still believe the game needs more coherent and focused design systems, as well as a full-on relaunch marketing push before that's ever gonna happen. I'm also incredibly conscious of the part I've played, unwittingly to an embarrassing degree, in overhyping the game in the first place, so whilst I'm holding out hope for a Boys in Blue sweep, my gut tells me it'll be more so the player response over the next 3 months that decides the fate of Payday, with the end of the play-on contract looming large. Regardless, I'm going into this one with slight butterflies of excitement, and if you're now keen to give the game a go after the 27th of June, look no further than my range of Apex Gaming PCs to play it on. These are still on sale at the moment, check out the link below if you're interested, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Let's hope for a big week. A huge thank you to my dedicated Patreon backers. If you want to join this crew in going infamous, check out the link below and pledge as little as $2 to see your name in the credits, or get 24-hour early access to future videos and vote on upcoming content. Take care, I'll see you all soon.